This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening, everyone. New at 10 with the district already short a substantial number of subs. The fight for a pay increase for substitute teachers was shot down by the Fargo School Board. Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor spoke with one substitute who told us what she thinks it would take to attract more subs.
Jill Carlson is a substitute teacher primarily for the West Fargo School District, but she sometimes helps out at a Fargo public school.
It's very challenging sometimes to be a substitute teacher, but it's also very rewarding.
Currently, Fargo and West Fargo school districts offer daily subs a $112 rate per day.
The pay is just not real competitive right now.
On Tuesday, a proposed pay increase aimed at recruiting and retaining substitute teachers was voted down by the Fargo School Board. Carlson says the board should have considered taking another approach.
There's maybe room for compromise, giving them just a little bit more. They might see a big difference in the number of subs that they get.
School board officials say the district is down 10 to 30 subs daily. And Carlson says she has seen firsthand how that affects the permanent teachers.
A lot of those teachers have to step in and be subs on their prep periods, on their team meeting periods, and it does weigh them down a little bit.
Carlson believes without having competitive pay, people interested in substituting will look the other way. But how much should a substitute teacher be paid daily? Carlson says the district will now have to go back to the drawing board by doing more research.
So it would be fair. Look at what everybody else is offering, look at the qualifications that people need, and kind of judge from there.
In Fargo, Nishay Taylor, Valley News Live.
Some Fargo School Board members argued that surrounding districts would then boost their pay if Fargo were to, making Fargo again less competitive. Some breaking news for you tonight. Police have been on the scene of a reported car hitting a pedestrian and happened shortly after 9 at 5th and NP in downtown Fargo near the bus stop in front of Romantics. Scanner traffic indicates that a pedestrian was hit by a vehicle. We'll continue to update you when we get information from Fargo Police. Well, at this time tomorrow, we may be dealing with conditions that have our storm team declaring another first alert weather day. Meteorologist Nathan Hopper is here with the latest. Nathan?
Yeah, thanks, Stacy. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Conditions tomorrow night going to be a bit different than what we saw tonight. Look at this. A beautiful setting sun from our Grand Forks, home of Economy Skycam. A few clouds moving through, a few flakes and flurries there this evening as well. But look at the beautiful colors we saw there when the sun was setting, even seeing some twilight hanging on until about 7:30 this evening. And those days are getting longer and longer as the days go by here into March. But here's how things look right now. This is our Luther Family Ford Skycam. We see things pretty quiet out there. Wind is light, around 10 miles per hour for some folks in Fargo, Grand Forks, Devil's Lake, with areas seeing temperatures either side of zero at this hour, with 2 below that current air temperature there in Devil's Lake. You can see satellite and radar, not much to speak of. So yeah, clear skies tonight, some fresh snow on the ground, light winds. Those are the ingredients we look for bitter cold temperatures. And look how cold it's going to get tonight with that clear sky. Well below zero for us in Fargo by the time we get to, say, 6 a.m. Near 10 below with that west wind around 10 miles per hour. So yes, dangerous wind chills expected tonight, but that Clipper system we've been talking about here for the last couple of days, we've raised a first alert weather day for that for Thursday evening into Friday morning. Light snow expected with this, but with that light fluffy snow, that wind could cause some issues with travelers Thursday night and Friday. So Stacy, of course, will break down these first alert weather days, this period, coming up in detail in a few minutes.
All right. Thanks so much, Nathan. A teen girl is headed to juvenile court in connection to a bizarre and brazen theft that happened in broad daylight. It happened last Friday at the intersection of 5th Avenue South and 21st Street South, where Mary Beth Burns says she saw a teen girl standing on the sidewalk who was trying to ask her for the time.
Did 3:15, and she looked at me like I didn't get that, so I waved her over to my car and rolled down the window, and I said it's 3:15, and she kind of looked around. She grabbed my purse and took off this way.
The teen eventually dropped the purse, but witnesses say she rifled through Burns's car while Burns was picking up her belongings. She says she hopes that sharing her story helps others be more aware. An atrocity. That's what Ukraine's president is calling the Russian bombing of a maternity and children's hospital. And as Russian forces appear to be escalating their attacks on civilians, the White House is warning that Russia could use chemical weapons in Ukraine. Cole Higgins has the latest.
Gunfire rings out in once peaceful Ukrainian streets as heavily armed Ukrainian troops battle with advancing Russian forces. As war rages on in Ukraine, ash rains down from the sky as innocent civilians are pulled from the rubble of a children's and maternity hospital that's been destroyed by a Russian airstrike. Ukraine's president says more people, including children, are under the ruins. Satellite images show what the hospital looks like before and after the bombing.
So far, WHO has verified 18 attacks on health facilities, health workers, and ambulances.
Children are dying by the dozens now, at home, in their houses, or on the roads to exile.
Several hours before the hospital was bombed, Russia accused Ukraine of establishing combat positions there.
Детская больница, роддом.
Children's hospital? Maternity ward? Why were they a threat to Russian Federation? What kind of country is Russian Federation that is afraid of hospitals, afraid of maternity wards and destroys them?
I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
Here at home, a Ukrainian foreign exchange student at Holly High School is trying to help her homeland by raising money. When Daniela Zubriv first came here 8 months ago, she couldn't have imagined what would happen to her home. Tonight, she has a message for her family back in Ukraine.
I hope that they're doing fine and that they're not suffering, that they're not lacking anything, and that I miss them a lot.
She spent the day selling cookies and T-shirts at school, and she plans to do the same tomorrow. A new report says the city of Minneapolis mishandled its response to the civil unrest following George Floyd's murder. It says the city's mayor didn't follow the city's emergency procedures. Auditors with law enforcement backgrounds reviewed thousands of documents and more than 30 hours of body camera footage and interviewed 90 city employees.
The city had emergency operations plans, as did the fire department, the police department. What we found is those weren't effectively utilized.
The researchers say a lack of structure in the government and confusion of leadership led to poor communication internally and ultimately with the public. And now to an update on a story we've been following for days. Students in Minneapolis public schools weren't in class for a second day today as their teachers continue to strike. Many of those teachers spent their morning protesting at the Minnesota State Capitol in St. Paul. They're asking for smaller class sizes, higher pay, and more diversity among teaching staff. Teachers in neighboring St. Paul averted a similar strike when they reached a deal with school officials Monday. The average teacher in St. Paul earns more than $85,000 a year. In Minneapolis, average pay is closer to $71,000. Still ahead tonight, a draw for thousands to Valley City. We'll take you inside the North Dakota Winter Show.
And tomorrow the changes begin. West-southwest wind will be gusty. It'll warm us up, but then a cold front comes through, brings some snow showers and a wind shift with strong northwest winds that could cause some travel troubles for us for our Friday morning. I'll break down your full forecast, including a warm-up next.